Welcome, history enthusiasts, to a deep dive into the fascinating causes of the American Revolution. In this first part of our series, we'll explore how the French and Indian War laid the groundwork for the eventual rebellion. So, let's jump right in. Our story begins in the 1750s, with North America as the backdrop for a power struggle between the British and French. The British and the French, along with their Native American allies, clashed over control of valuable territories, including the Ohio River Valley. The war was costly in terms of both lives and money. The American colonists, who were part of the British forces, bore a significant portion of this burden. When the dust settled, the Treaty of Paris in 1763 officially ended the conflict. Britain emerged victorious, gaining control of Canada and Florida, but they were deeply in debt. To alleviate this debt, Britain decided to impose new taxes and policies on the American colonies, setting the stage for further unrest and ultimately revolution. The French and Indian War, though won by Britain, sowed the seeds of discontent among the American colonists. It marked the beginning of a series of events that would lead to the American Revolution. Welcome back to our series on the causes of the American Revolution. In Part 2, we'll explore two critical events that ignited the flames of rebellion: the Boston Massacre and the Boston Tea Party. These incidents pushed the American colonies closer to a breaking point with British rule. Our story begins on the evening of March 5, 1770, in the heart of Boston, Massachusetts. Tensions had been simmering for years between British soldiers and the colonists. The presence of British troops in Boston was a constant reminder of British authority. On that fateful night, a confrontation between a crowd of angry colonists and British soldiers escalated. In the chaos that followed, British troops opened fire on the crowd, resulting in the tragic deaths of 5 colonists. The Boston Massacre shocked the colonists and became a focal point for anti-British sentiment. Patriots used it as propaganda to rally support for the cause of independence. Fast forward to December 16, 1773, and the stage is set for another pivotal event. The British government, in an attempt to assert control and save the financially struggling British East India Company, passed the Tea Act. This act granted the British East India Company a monopoly on tea sales in the American colonies. In protest against the Tea Act, a group of colonists disguised as Mohawk Indians boarded 3 British ships and dumped an entire shipment of tea into Boston Harbor during the Boston Tea Party. This audacious act of defiance sent shockwaves through the colonies and infuriated the British government. In response, they enacted a series of harsh measures known as the Coercive Acts or Intolerable Acts. The Boston Massacre and the Boston Tea Party were pivotal moments in the lead-up to the American Revolution. They further strained the relationship between the American colonies and Britain and pushed the colonists closer to rebellion. In Part 3, we'll examine how a series of taxes imposed by the British government acted as the tipping point that led to the American Revolution. These taxes and policies, seen by the colonists as unfair and oppressive, ignited the flames of rebellion. By the mid-1760s, following the French and Indian War and the end of the 7 Years' War, Britain faced mounting debt and sought ways to recover its financial losses. The American colonies became a target for taxation. In 1765, the British Parliament passed the infamous Stamp Act, requiring colonists to pay taxes on various printed materials, including newspapers, legal documents, and playing cards. The colonists vehemently opposed the Stamp Act, arguing that they were being taxed without representation in the British Parliament. The rallying cry, "No taxation without representation," echoed throughout the colonies. Due to the widespread protests and boycotts, the Stamp Act was eventually repealed in 1766. However, it was a short-lived victory for the colonists. In 1767, the British government passed the Townshend Acts, which imposed taxes on a range of imported goods such as glass, paper, paint, and tea. These new taxes further fueled tensions between the colonists and Britain. The colonists responded with organized boycotts of British goods, leading to economic hardships for both sides. The friction escalated, leading to incidents like the Boston Massacre we discussed earlier. In response to the Boston Tea Party, the British government enacted the Intolerable Acts in 1774, which restricted colonial self-government and further angered the colonists. As a result of these oppressive measures, the First Continental Congress was convened in 1774. bringing together representatives from the colonies to discuss their grievances and plan a unified response. The American colonists' frustration with taxation without representation, combined with the oppressive measures taken by the British government, set the stage for the American Revolution. In our next installment, we will explore how these tensions boiled over into open rebellion and the Declaration of Independence. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell to continue following our historical journey. Thanks for watching.